Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a crucial topic. Countries where American citizens face travel restrictions or bans. There are a number of countries around the world where American citizens face restrictions ranging from needing special visas to outright bans. So buckle up, grab your metaphorical passports and let's get started. Our first stop takes us to North Korea, often dubbed the Hermit Kingdom. Americans hoping to visit North Korea face a wall of challenges with tourist visas rarely granted and heavily monitored itineraries. Independent travel is basically unheard of. These restrictions stem from decades of political tension between the US and North Korea. Next, we travel to Iran, a country with a rich history and culture that often finds itself at odds with US foreign policy. American citizens are generally not allowed to enter Iran for tourism purposes, and obtaining a visa is extremely difficult. There are some exceptions for journalists, academics, and those with family ties in Iran, but even those require extensive vetting. The US government cites concerns about Iran's nuclear program and support for groups like Hezbollah. Our journey takes us now to Syria, a nation tragically engulfed in a devastating civil war. For American citizens, travel to Syria is not just restricted, it's outright banned due to ongoing armed conflict and widespread violence. The US State Department has issued a Level 4 travel advisory for Syria, urging Americans not to travel there under any circumstances. Our exploration of travel restrictions takes us next to Yemen, a country grappling with a complex and devastating humanitarian crisis. The US government strongly advises its citizens against traveling to Yemen, citing the dangers of armed conflict, terrorism, and kidnapping. Yemen has been embroiled in a civil war since 2014, with various factions vying for control. The US Embassy in Yemen suspended operations in 2015, making it extremely difficult to provide assistance to American citizens who choose to travel there. Our journey now takes us to Libya, a North African nation still grappling with the aftermath of revolution and political instability. The US government urges its citizens to reconsider travel to Libya due to ongoing violence and the threat of terrorism. Since the overthrow of Muammar Gaddafi in 2011, Libya has struggled to establish a stable government. The US government has limited ability to provide assistance to its citizens in Libya due to the volatile security environment. Our next stop takes us to Somalia, a country in the Horn of Africa that has faced decades of conflict and instability. The US government strongly advises against all travel to Somalia, citing the high risk of terrorism, kidnapping, and violent crime. Somalia has been plagued by civil war and the presence of extremist groups, most notably Al-Shabaab. The US government has limited ability to provide assistance to its citizens in Somalia due to the security situation. Our exploration of travel restrictions now takes us to South Sudan, a young nation grappling with the legacy of civil war and ongoing humanitarian challenges. The US government advises its citizens to reconsider travel to South Sudan due to crime, kidnapping, and armed conflict. South Sudan gained independence from Sudan in 2011, but quickly descended into civil war in 2013. The ongoing conflict has led to a dire humanitarian crisis, with millions displaced from their homes. We continue our journey to Sudan, a country with a long and complex history marked by conflict and political instability. The US government advises its citizens to reconsider travel to Sudan due to the risks of terrorism, civil unrest, and crime. Sudan has experienced numerous coups and periods of authoritarian rule since gaining independence in 1956. While there have been some recent efforts to improve relations, the security situation in Sudan remains volatile. Our exploration of travel restrictions takes us next to Cuba, an island nation just 90 miles off the coast of Florida. For decades, travel to Cuba for American citizens was heavily restricted due to the US embargo and political tensions. As of now, travel to Cuba for tourism purposes remains off-limits for most American citizens. Our journey takes us to Eritrea, a country in the Horn of Africa, known as the North Korea of Africa due to its reclusive nature and authoritarian government. The US advises reconsidering travel due to severe restrictions on freedom. Mandatory national service can last indefinitely, causing many to flee. Travel is possible, but visas are hard to get and surveillance is common. Our journey takes us now to Russia, a vast country spanning 11 time zones and a complex history with the United States. While travel to Russia for American citizens isn't outright banned, it's become increasingly complicated in recent years due to escalating political tensions. The US State Department has issued travel advisories for Russia, urging American citizens to exercise increased caution due to the potential for harassment and limited access to consular services. Our exploration of travel restrictions takes us to China, a country of immense cultural richness and a rapidly growing economy. While China is popular for tourists, some regions have significant restrictions. Tibet requires special permits and independent travel is restricted. Xinjiang, home to the Uyghur minority, has heightened security and travel restrictions. Our journey takes us to Saudi Arabia, home to Islam's holiest sites and vast oil reserves. While Saudi Arabia has opened up to tourism, Mecca and Medina are off-limits to non-Muslims. The US State Department advises caution due to terrorism threats. We return to Iran, a country with significant travel restrictions for American citizens. Obtaining a tourist visa to Iran is extremely difficult for Americans. Military zones and sensitive areas are strictly off-limits to foreigners. Americans should also be aware of Iran's strict social and religious customs. Our exploration of travel restrictions takes us to Pakistan, a country of breathtaking beauty and rich culture. It has a complex geopolitical landscape. Despite security improvements, some areas still have significant travel restrictions. The FATA region along the Afghanistan border is particularly sensitive. The US advises caution in major cities due to terrorism threats. Our journey takes us to Venezuela, a country in South America grappling with a profound political, economic, and humanitarian crisis. The US government has issued a Level 4 travel advisory for Venezuela. Venezuela has experienced hyperinflation, food and medicine shortages. The US government has limited ability to provide consular services. We continue our exploration of travel restrictions in Nicaragua, a Central American nation known for its beautiful volcanoes and colonial cities. The US advises reconsidering travel due to crime, civil unrest, and arbitrary law enforcement. The political climate remains tense. Our journey takes us now to Turkey, a transcontinental country straddling Europe and Asia, a land of ancient history, vibrant culture, and unfortunately, recent political tensions with the United States. While Turkey remains a popular tourist destination, American citizens should be aware of the current political climate and potential travel challenges. The US State Department advises American citizens to exercise increased caution in Turkey due to the potential for arbitrary detentions and the threat of terrorism. We journey now to Egypt, a country synonymous with ancient wonders, from the pyramids of Giza to the Valley of the Kings. While Egypt remains a popular destination for travelers, it has faced security challenges, particularly related to terrorism. The US government advises against travel to the Sinai Peninsula due to terrorism threats and to exercise caution in other parts of Egypt. It's crucial for American citizens to stay informed and register with the US Embassy in Cairo. Our final stop takes us to Afghanistan, a country that has known decades of conflict. The echoes of war still resonate deeply. The US government advises against all travel due to security threats. Following the US withdrawal and Taliban takeover in 2021, Afghanistan faces a humanitarian crisis. And there you have it, a glimpse into the complex world of travel restrictions for American citizens. Remember, travel restrictions can change, so always check official government websites before planning your trip. And don't forget to register with the US Department of State's Smart Traveler Enrollment Program, or STEP, for safety updates. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching and stay safe out there.